pick from the Nuggets and Lakers, as well as Major League Baseball. We'll also mix in some college football and the NFL. And, of course, we'll take a look at our green room. A lot of guests ready to come on our show and talk and give out some plays from today's card. First, I'd like to welcome my co-host today, Mitch. Mitch, how you doing? Of course, we're looking at some Major League Baseball. And, of course, the Phillies, again, lose and make it a lot more interesting. And the Rockies have something to smile about after that result, and many and other the teams behind the Phillies.
We talked about it on the morning show. The Phillies playing like the way Amari Cooper approaches over the middle pass. You know, they want no part of this postseason whatsoever. It's just, the Phillies, they've had every chance. They had a favorable matchup today. They had Aaron Nola, who's their guy. They had him up against Austin Voth. And if you can't get it done against Voth, you're not going to get it done. And we'll have Chris Ruffalo on later. He'll get into the finer points of Voth with you. And Rod Zawacki will remind you what Voth's record was going into that game as well. It's just, if you can't win these games, if you can't beat Anibal Sanchez and Austin Voth with the postseason hanging in the balance, then you don't deserve to be there. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Of course, if you saw that inning where all the damage was done, the Phillies, the bats for the Nationals were in shadows, and that's a bad. And the pitcher was in sunlight. That's supposed to be a bad situation for the hitters, and it was incredible that Nationals, again, like I said, I think earlier before the show, be careful with these bad teams. These prospects come in and play. They're very motivated because they know there's some jobs up there for grabs.
Exactly, but if you score one run off of Voth, if you score one run off of Austin Voth, you're not going to win baseball games. You're not going to be competitive in any kind of postseason, so you might as well just hang it up. And I'll tell you, Bryce Harper's used to not making the postseason, so he's probably saying the same thing to everybody else. It's like, hey, let's go hunting over at my house or something. And it's like, I'm telling you, this team has no interest in any part of being a part of the Major League Baseball postseason this year.
All right, guys, it's the drive-through daily 6 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of free picks coming. Mitch, I'd like to get your thoughts on Monday Night Football. It was a slow start for the Raiders, but their offense got in gear, and they never figure out this offense from the Saints, slowed them down a little bit. They come away. It comes in the home dog and the over.
Once in a while, I make a pick early in the week, and I change my mind, and I realize about halfway through the game, or maybe the first drive of the second half, I realize I should have stuck with my first intuition, and that's exactly what happened to me last night with the Raiders and the Saints. I apologize to everyone. That was my worst pick of the entire year, taking the Saints in that game. It was just so square and just so bad, and that's like, the thing is, in my pool that I'm in, just like everybody's in a pool, I had the Raiders. It's like I had them everywhere, and it's like I got down to the thing, and it's like I take the Saints because I start thinking, Drew Brees on Monday night and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, you can't, if you're gonna flag a team 13 times, they're not gonna win. You can't commit 13 penalties in the NFL that they call. I don't really understand the NFL rules anymore, but I don't like them, and I just think that when one team's flagged 3 times and the other one's flagged 13 times. The team that's flagged 13 times, they can't win. You're putting yourself in a position where you absolutely can't win. I'm not saying that the refs fixed the game. I'm not saying that they did. I'm saying they didn't. I'm just saying I picked the wrong side of it. If they did or if they didn't, I just picked the wrong side. I don't like a lot of the way the penalties are in the NFL. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I spoke about this on the morning show. It's like, when is tapping a quarterback on the helmet because you put your arms up to block a pass a forcible blow to the head? When did that happen? Because this guy didn't even get knocked down. As a matter of fact, he didn't even move an inch, But just touching him on the head is a 15-yard penalty on a third down play. And, it's plays like that swing games. I mean, bring back the horse collar as far as I'm concerned. They did it for 60, 70 years, and no one ever had a problem with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I'd like to get your thoughts here. Well, the NBA, we're looking at a January 2021 start, not Christmas. Silver's saying it may be a little bit too soon to get the restart in December at Christmas time. So looking at a January start for the NBA, and also college news on college basketball. Mitch, looks like we're going to have some bubbles here for some of the tournaments, and even talk of non-conference bubbles where you have a lot of games in certain spots. And this leads to discussion. We may be seeing conference games played in one location with teams just rotating in and out. That might be a possibility.
Yeah, it's like I think they're going to get it done. I think there's still a lot that can change between now and then. I'm a little disappointed with the late NBA start. I was kind of hoping for that Christmas start, but it's not going to be that much further down the road. And college basketball, talking about this bubble in North Carolina, maybe there'll be a couple bubbles around the country too. I mean, there's a lot that can happen between now and then. I mean, just like we saw with the Big Ten season. With the Big Ten season, it was all of a sudden they're playing, right? It's like now all of a sudden there's a schedule, and miraculously, if there's a championship game, these guys will have finished their season and be ready to go in case they qualify. It's all a crock at this point. I mean, let's just figure it out and do it. I mean, we've shown that guys are playing football against one another every Saturday, and I'm not hearing that these teams that are playing are just all of a sudden infected with COVID. I know COVID is rampant at Ohio State. My nephews are there; they both have it. But they're 18, 19-year-old kids. They're fine.
There's so many games from college basketball that there'll be games. There'll be a ton of games pretty much every day. And of course, interesting note: if it's a bubble, something you can think about. Home court advantage may not be as. I think the best home court advantages in college basketball, so that may impact the handicap a little bit when we get there. We're still 4 months, well, maybe about we're about 2 months away, Mitch, right? 2 months away from around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, 2 months away. I'm already ready. I've been, you start saying Thanksgiving, I start drooling. I'm ready. It's like I'm thinking about what it's going to take to get that top button unbuttoned, of my pants, because I'm pretty much ready for Thanksgiving right now. I love Thanksgiving; it's my favorite. Yeah, and hopefully, definitely. Hopefully we got some college basketball tournament action. And unfortunately, it's not going to be here the way it normally is. But we'll have other tournaments here in Maui. It's not like the tournament will be gone forever. And I think if teams have a choice to go to North Carolina or Maui, I think they'll come here. So we'll see what happens in the future. But, for right now, I'm just thankful to have sports. I'm really taking in, I said it all during the COVID break that I was going to take in every moment of sports that there is when it comes back, and I'm not going to take it for granted anymore. And I've watched every NFL game. I've watched every college football game, and I've watched every single baseball game and basketball game. And the hockey I haven't seen as much, but, I can be persuaded.
All right, joined with Mitch on the drive-thru. Let's take a look at this one here, starting at the top of the hour. Cubs, Quintana, Pittsburgh, and Brault. We're seeing a big line here for the Cubs, about $1.50 total coming here at 8.5. Of course, the Cubs pretty much trying to hold off the Cardinals for that division. And Quintana makes his first start. He's been sidelined with a lat injury, but he's pitching to a Pirates lineup that's cold hitting. And Brault, well, he's pitched well at home, and he's pitching to a Cubs lineup, Mitch, it doesn't hit lefty, so something's got to give here.
Yeah, someone made a comment on our morning show that said the Pirates haven't been playing well lately. This is a team that's won less than 30% of their games this season. It's not lately. It's this season. The Pirates have been really one of the worst teams, if not the worst overall team in baseball. Dana talked about it a lot, about how directionless this team is. You would think that the Cubs would take their foot off the gas at this point, but they didn't look like they were ready to do so last night. So, I don't love this game because the angle that you just said, and I've been going on the Pirates a bunch, but man, 15-39, that is the worst record in baseball. That is just pathetic. I mean, it is a .278 winning percentage.
Yeah, that is pretty brutal here. And I think with the cold bats here, I would probably look at under 8.5. All right, he's Mitch. I'm Tony T. This is the drive-thru, and it's ready to bring in one of the Pig Dog cappers. And we're going to go and bring in Rod Zawacki. You can hear him on the morning show with Mitch at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Rod, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good.
All right, excellent. I want to get your thoughts on that hockey game last night. We got an even series.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured this series is going to be tight and really close. I'm going to push on the total again, 5 goals exactly. Goals are definitely hard to come by, and I can easily see this series going 7.
Yeah, it could definitely go that way. All right, Rod, you're going to be taking a look here at a West Coast game here with the Dodgers and the Oakland Athletics. Dodgers in really good shape right now to win the NL West against Oakland. Montez against Dodgers May. Dodgers here laying about $1.77 to $1.70. Total sits here at 9 in this one. And of course, Dustin May has been kind of involved in a lot of those bullpen games, pitching about a handful of innings. But Montez coming off paternity leave. How do you see this one?
For me in this game here, like I said, May has actually looked not too bad this year. He's pitched 47 innings, made 10 appearances this year. And in those 10 appearances, he hasn't given up more than 2 runs all season long in his 10 appearances. So he's definitely going to keep things tight in this game. For me, I'm Montez. Montez pitching, he's 4-0 in game 1. In the last 4 game 1s of a series, he's 4-0 with Oakland. The last 11 matchups, Oakland versus the Dodgers, Oakland's 8-3 in the last 11 head-to-head. They're 5-0 versus a right-handed starter. So for me here, I'm going to take a shot here with Oakland. Give me Oakland as the underdog to get a win here against the Dodgers.
Yeah, hard to argue that, Mitch, with that value there. Of course, with the Dodgers, you don't know what they're going to do. They may play their starters for 5 innings and bring in the backups in this one because they have a wide lead over the Padres for that NL West, and of course for the number 1 seed. And of course, Oakland, even if Montez can last 3 or 4 or 5 innings, they have a pretty good bullpen.
Yeah, and the thing with Oakland is you have to remember that's always just a sum of the parts. And that's what they've been, for a very long time. That's just a bunch of different interchangeable people, that there is no superstar on this team that it's like, oh boy, Aaron Judge is out or Stanton. They have no excuses. It's like you never hear with the A's, like, oh, Chapman's out. I guess you did hear that when Chapman was out, but it's not like, they have these people that they lean on. It's next man up, for Oakland. And it's games like this where it really comes in handy. That's for sure.
Yeah, no question about that. Have you been successful with Oakland? I know they've been a popular team to bet on. Of course, that bullpen's been solid, and they're coming off a day off as well.
I've done well with Oakland so far this season, but really I've had better seasons with Oakland than this season. It's just, to me, normally Oakland has been kind of that second team in a big city. We've seen those, before with the White Sox, Oakland. Those are kind of my teams. Mid-small market teams are also my teams, and that's where you're going to find most of the value. You're never going to find the value on the Red Sox, Cubs, Yankees, and Dodgers. The value is always going to be on Oakland. It's going to be on Minnesota. It's going to be on Milwaukee. It's going to be, in those places where nobody else is looking. And by the time they realize that the money was there on those teams, well, then the money usually moves somewhere else.
Rod, at some point, these teams are going to be locked in their seat, and then it becomes a tricky handicap. But for the Dodgers right now, they're kind of clear, and you pretty much expect them probably to clinch the NL West sometime in the next couple of days. And then, of course, then what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. And then what happens when you got a team who's locked in? How motivated are they going to be to play the game, right? You have to take those things into effect. It's definitely going to be part of the cap. That's for sure.
Yeah, Mitch, because here there's only a 60-game schedule, and you don't have as much time between clinching and the playoffs. So these managers are going to have to, look at the situation. Are we going to give a day off and then let these guys play, half the game? It's going to be a kind of a tricky handicap as we get later in the week.
Absolutely, because these games, without the days off in between the baseball games, there's going to be continuous games. You're going to have to conserve the best that you possibly can. It's, how they manage these series is going to be pretty interesting as well. And of course, to sum up the entire thing of the Phillies right now, the guy hits the ball, goes past the outfielder, a diving outfielder, rolls all the way to the wall. He's coming around second base for a sure inside the ballpark home run and falls down. It sounds like it ends up being a double, and this is that is the Phillies. That is their game. It's outstretched outfielder, goes right under the glove. You've seen it a million times. It runs all the way to the wall and trips over second base. But anyways, I think that we are going to see. It's been an interesting baseball season. I've said it a bunch of times that people are saying, "Oh, I've been playing your free picks. I've been winning anyway." But this is my worst baseball season I've ever had. It's my worst one I've ever had. I've enjoyed it the most because I love the 7 inning games. I love the guy starting on second base in the extra innings. And the Yankees went on a losing streak, so I like that. When the chalky team starts getting beaten on, all those things have worked out well for me. But on the other side of it, I missed the Padres run. I did not participate in the rally. As they say in the stock market, just did not participate in that rally. And I think missing out on that, getting off my Oakland A's, a team that had carried me for years when they were my dog of the day. A couple of things like that were just bad moves. I kind of also, the White Sox being my team, I kind of I didn't take full advantage of that. And, I got sucked in on a couple other things, as well. So just not my best baseball season. So I'm going to hope that next year with a full 162 that we'll get some real garbage time in there. And that's really when we make our big money. Also, we got the postseason, and I'm good at the big games.
Yeah, and I think I was married to the Giants a little too long. I should have divorced them 2 weeks ago. And I also too, I wish I would have been caught on that playing the prospect in Game 2 of the doubleheader. I think one thing, everybody lives in the now. I think a lot of attention is put on that opening, Game 1 pitcher, but sometimes they sneak in that prospect into Game 2 that there's not, no one, like I said, we're in the now, so these players are not really, or this coaching staff maybe not as focused on that Game 2 starter. You can get some value in Game 2. How did you find this baseball season for you, Rod?
For me, it's been up and down. I was up there doing really good, and then it goes down. It's been a roller coaster ride of a baseball season for me. Definitely, you've had good days and bad days, that's for sure.
All right, Rod, but we're seeing you right now really doing well in the NBA, up over nearly 600 units of profit as we hit the bottom of the hour. What do you have available right now over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Right now available over at Pick Dogs. I've got Tackle the Book Tuesday Birdcage available, which is my 2 selections in the NBA, and 1 selection in tonight's WNBA playoff contest. Got the winning side in that WNBA contest. I like hoops as well as hockey.
All right, so Rod's been zeroing in on the hoops, the ladies and the women. So I checks them out both. All right, Rod, as always, a great having you on the show. We'll listen for you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'm sure you'll have some talk on hockey and more.
You bet. You guys have yourself a good evening.
All right. Good evening to you, Rod. All right, everybody, Rod Zawacki here on the Drive Thru Guys daily at 6 p.m. Eastern time. A slew of handicappers, nothing but picks throughout the show. We have a lot more picks coming. We're going to have the NBA pick later in the show between the Nuggets and Lakers, some college football mixed in with some baseball. But, Mitch, let's take a look at this one from Major League Baseball that will start shortly. And it's between the Marlins and the Braves. And, of course, the Marlins trying to get into the postseason. Urena and Wilson. Wilson's had some shaky numbers here, but he's the favorite here, minus 160. Total sits here at 10. Of course, Urena, well, he's had some struggles on the mound. How do you see this one?
Well, I'm a little mad at the Atlanta Braves for scratching Cole Hamels on me. I really love betting against Cole Hamels, especially at the prices that we've seen on him in recent years. I mean, I saw that minus 190 on Hamels. I had to bet the thing last night. My bet's already been canceled on that thing. But I still have a play here on the over in this game as well. I like the over in the Marlins Brave games. Both these teams have been swinging the bats, and Urena could give up 9 runs by himself if he doesn't even need to apply himself. But I think that both these teams, we see, late scoring from both of them as well. We've seen a lot of late scoring this week. A lot of late scoring. We saw it in the Mariners game last night. We saw it in the Reds game last night. And I think we're going to see more of it tonight.
Yeah, could happen. Of course, if you look at Bryce Wilson, man, his control has been an issue. His years in Major League Baseball, 13% walk rate. He's pitching to 40% hard contact. Really, I'm there with you there on the over, guys. It's the drive-through Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Each time. A lot more free picks coming. It's time to bring in another one of our pick dogs into discussion. And, of course, you can listen to, we're going to bring in Chris Ruffalo. You can listen to him at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on the morning show with Mitch and company. Chris, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, guys. I got a nice steaming cup of Voth to the face this afternoon with that Washington Nationals game, I'll tell you. But and you know what? We got a nice card tonight. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely looking forward to the card tonight. Of course, you're going to be looking at. You gave us a 2 for Tuesday today, so it's always great to get 2 for Tuesdays from Chris and Mitch on the show.
Yeah, that's my favorite day of the week. Around here when I was in high school, that was the combo at the lunch place. It was buy one get one free, 2 for Tuesday, and I carried that forward up until now. So. One of my favorite days of the week, I'll tell you that much.
All right. You're going to be looking at the game at the top of the hour, the Rays and the Mets. It's Snell versus Lugo. We're seeing this one anywhere about $1.30, $1.35 in certain places. Total sits here at 7.5. Of course, Lugo, he thought he was a closer, but he's trying to make a case to get into the starting rotation next year. So the Mets still with hope. I mean, he saw that Phillies lose today. That maybe picked them up a little bit, but the Rays are off to a great season. Snell, this will probably be his last start before the postseason. How do you see this one? I think we have Chris? Oh, there we go.
You good?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Mitch will be the first one to tell you after today. I've been having some issues with the internet, but no, as you look at Seth Lugo, I mean, yeah, this is probably his audition to try to be a starter in next year's rotation for the Mets. This is a guy that does have 36 starts under his belt, though, in his career. The problem I have with Lugo in the starting role, he's 1-1 with a 5.30 ERA this season after only 5 starts. That's the biggest ERA he's had in any of his 4 years with any documented roles as a starter in any game. And that's the smallest sample size as well with the biggest ERA. I don't know. Blake Snell, this is still a pitcher that's 2 years removed from a Cy Young award. He's 8-3 in his career in interleague play with an ERA under 2. For me, I think this just boils down to if the Mets were going to win a game, you'd think they'd want to do it with their ace on the mound in DeGrom. But I know run support for DeGrom's been an issue for them over the years. I still think we're getting the better pitcher with the team playing much better baseball. I know the Mets are desperate, but the Rays are the best team in the American League record-wise. I'll lay the -140 with the Rays on the road.
Yeah, -140 with the Rays on the road. Mitch, hard to argue that here. Lugo's struggling. Of course, the Mets really just not taking care of business. And, again, squandering opportunities to get in the postseason.
Yep, 24 and 30 for the Mets heading into this game. 14 games off of the leaders there. But really, 4 games out, behind the Marlins, and it's pretty sad when you have a payroll that looks like the Marlins ahead of you and you're the New York Mets. And I think, it pretty much just sums it up. It's been a tough year for the Mets. They don't have, a few years ago, we talked about this great Mets pitching staff and, Noah Syndergaard they had, and, they had, with the guy they got from Toronto last year, the pitcher.
Marcus Stroman.
Yeah, Marcus Stroman and DeGrom. But if you give me those 3 guys in a 60-game schedule, and I like my chances, but you give me Steven Matz and Seth Lugo having to move in from the bullpen where it's not his place, and throw in some Rick Porcello, and it's going to be a tough run here. I mean, no doubt about it. It's like there's not a lot you can do with that. It's kind of like the Mets and the Red Sox rotations are the 2 rotations that kind of just fell off the face of the earth.
Can we throw in a nice little dose of Robert Selman as well?
Oh, I didn't want to say it.
Steven Matz has not been too good either.
No, you got Familia in the bullpen. This is ugliness. This is just straight ugliness. Maybe they, it's like the days of David Cohn and Dwight Gooden. Seemed a long time ago. Yep.
No argument there. Remember, Snell was the first guy that came out. If you remember back when all this COVID started, he was the first one said he didn't want to play. Remember that? Someone gave him a free pass on that, right?
Tampa Bay Lightning, Tampa Bay Rays, like something going on there.
It's something in the water in that city where they just say, you know what, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with this. Yeah. I got better things to do.
Have a great season. Everyone forgets about it. That's really how it works.
Yeah, that 21-game Cy Young season kind of lost some credibility at that point when you say, I don't want to play.
Absolutely. All right, it's a drive-through, guys. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Hit the bottom of the hour. We got more picks coming. Of course, it's 2 for Tuesday. We got Chris Ruffalo here. You're going to look at the big one today. Milwaukee and Cincinnati. Anderson against Gray. Gray coming back from that injury, but he didn't pitch well before going on that 10-day DL. Anderson down pitcher, but the Brewers, they're a little desperate here after dropping the first one of the series. How do you see this one?
Well, you guys talked about the series earlier, and I mentioned it when I came on. Philly dropping the first game to Austin Voth. If you told me that Austin Voth today was going to throw a complete game. Oh, did I freeze?
Nope, you're still on, buddy. We still got you. We still got you, Chris Ruffalo. We can see it moving, buddy. You're good. You're good. Let's go to I'll go to the 3-shot here. You're good, buddy.
How I managed to freeze in the best possible facial scenarios, I have no idea.
No, you didn't freeze. You never froze.
Oh, I didn't freeze?
Never froze.
Oh,
you never froze.
Okay, sorry.
No.
I froze on this side. If you guys told me, though, that Austin Voth today was going to throw a complete Game 7 inning masterpiece against the Philadelphia Phillies, I might have thought you were crazy, but it's what he did. And Philly, they're running out of time to clinch that second wild card spot, and Milwaukee sees that. They see Philadelphia dropping winnable situations like this. You got a pitcher in Brett Anderson who I'll admit I haven't been the biggest fan of, but the Brewers have still won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's gone at least 5 innings in each of those games. You've got Sonny Gray coming back from the injured list, and in his last 2 starts before he went on the injured list, maybe this back strain had something to do with that. He's got an ERA of 24.75 after giving up 11 runs across 4 innings and 2 starts. So
you're still on, buddy. You're good.
I just think, you're seeing some blood in the water.
Chris is. I don't think he knows. I think he's frozen.
Chris, you're on. He might be frozen.
I really don't know if I'm still in the air.
You're on the air, buddy.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
I'm still good.
You're still
freeze
good.
on this side. I freeze on this side, and I don't know. So from now on, I'm just going to keep talking. If you can't hear me, just press the rewind button. I'll reset.
If you just keep talking, and if we can't hear you, I'll just ventriloquist you.
You can read the lips. Mitch can read the lips.
I'm not trying to figure out where you're going to put your hand to get me to start talking, but that's besides the point. I just think that the Brewers can sense this is the crack that they were waiting for to see if they were going to have a chance to get in. I think with Sonny Gray, dealing with injury, even if he does have a fairly decent start here, he's probably going to be on like a 60 pitch count, and that Reds bullpen has been far from reliable this season. So I think Milwaukee can get a foot in the door here and win this game tonight, plus 140.
All right, Mitch, look at it. I kind of agree with Chris. What are your thoughts here with the Brewers here? Kind of a desperate spot for them. But again, that's probably reverse.
This is the spot that they played themselves into, this Brewers team, and I expected a lot more from them this season. I don't think Brett Anderson's going to provide a lot of answers here at Great American Ballpark. I think one of the things that I've done in the past that I haven't done as much this baseball season is I ride teams that end the games big, and they carry that momentum into the next game and the confidence. And the Reds last night, after trailing 1-0 against Milwaukee. They came out, and I tell you, they were swinging all the way to the final gun in that one. They hit a home run in the 9th inning. They hit a 3-run home run in the 9th inning as well. So I just think that the Reds carry that over here against Milwaukee. I like them on the run line.
All right, Mitch says take them on the run line. It always seems, Chris, these are 2 teams I have a hard time playing because they just can't hit.
I mean, they've just been a hard time. They've just been a hard team to figure out, since the get-go. You go look at Cincinnati. You got a guy like Trevor Bauer saying he wants to pitch every 4 days. Sonny Gray, who was looking like the best pitcher in that rotation, he all of a sudden falls off a cliff and then is dealing with injuries left and right. And then you got just a bunch of talented players that had a lot of hype coming into the season, and it just didn't happen. And the same thing with Milwaukee. Still got talented guys. Ryan Braun. They brought up Keston Hiura last year, the year before. They've got, they've got Yasmani Grandal. They've got a bunch of, as well, skilled players. But I think the problem for Milwaukee was the lack of a reliable starting rotation. And I mean, if Brandon Woodruff was great in his first few starts, I think he was 15. The Brewers were 15-4 in his first 19 starts. But other than that, they haven't got much production anywhere else, and I think that was their downfall this season, as well as a bit of a disappointment from a performance standpoint from the lineup.
All right, it's Chris Russell Ruffalo here joining us on the drive-thru. Chris, I'm seeing the numbers are fantastic. Season in the NBA over 800 units. We got a game tonight between Nuggets and Lakers. What do you got going over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Sorry, I got distracted for a second. I heard Nuggets. For me for tonight, I was sitting in the drive-thru today, no pun intended, and I was coming back from after doing our morning show, and I saw number 5, and I was like, you know what? I haven't ordered a number 5 in a while, and that's what I got for everybody else tonight. I got my drive-thru combo special 5-pack, a little bit of a modification from the 2 for Tuesday pack in case you're going to miss the games that are going off the top of the hour, but this is a 5-pack exclusive to the show. I'm going to hold on to it until the show goes off the air at 7:00. $25, 5 picks. You're going to get 3 of my MLB picks as well as a side and a total from the NBA tonight. I'm looking forward to Game 3. Number 3 handicapper in the NBA right now. So trust me, guys, you don't want to miss out on this. Believe me.
All right, guys, check out Chris Ruffalo over at Pick Dogs Premium. Pick up his packages right now. NBA game. He's been tearing it up. You can find him there. Over 800 units of profit. Chris, is always great having you on your show. We'll listen for you and watch you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the morning show with Mitch and Company.
Sounds good, guys. Have a good night.
All right, Chris Ruffalo joined us here on the drive-thru. A lot more picks coming, more baseball. We got the NBA Nuggets Laker pick coming up. We have some college football and NFL to cover here in the final 20 minutes of the show before we take to the top of the hour. Mitch, let's take a look at this game going on off at 8 Eastern Time. St. Louis, Gomberg, Casey Singer here. We're seeing St. Louis favored here, minus 109. Total sits at 8.5. Of course, St. Louis, the team that needs the game. We know that Royals won't be playing postseason, but Singer's been a pitcher that's been pitching in good form, and Gomberg's been having issues with his control. How do you see this one?
The Royals are the best 22-32 team in baseball right now. I mean, this is a good team. It's like I can at least see the direction that this team wants to go and how they're going to get there. And it's these good young pitchers, and we're seeing them starting to come into the lineup. All they need to do is get a couple bats, get a couple guys healthy, and they'll at least be competitive. And I think that in this spot, I think they have a chance to be competitive because this Cardinals team really wants no part of anything either. This is another team that, they're competing for second place in the in the Central Division of the National League, but they had all these games in hand against the Reds and the Brewers, and they had a 6-game lead last week in the loss column, against the Reds, and now it's 2. And when you look at the win column, it's 2 as well. The Reds have 2 games in the win, and the Cardinals have 2 in the loss. So it's evaporated. They've given it away, and they've lost. I would say most of the losses were in winnable spots. Kansas City is a winnable spot, but not for the Cardinals. It's like they're not. You're not seeing teams play like they want it, and the Cardinals, I think, fit right into that mix. And I don't think Gomber is the secret either. He's not going to be the secret to stop the bleeding here. But the Cardinals, they lose here. I believe believe the Reds win and the Cardinals lose, that these two teams will flip flop in the standings. The Cardinals had what was a 3-game lead over the Reds, or a 4-game. Now they are dead in a virtual dead heat. And the Reds win, Cardinals lose. They flip flop.
Dodger fans are saying, well, the Cardinals are playing themselves into the 8th seed because they got the Dodgers number in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think the Cardinals are actually going to play themselves. It's 4 teams for 2 spots. That's really what's going on here. The Dodgers and Padres are both in. So the first 2 spots in the West are decided. The Cubs are in. The Braves and Marlins are more than likely in at this point. But if not, it's Braves and then the Phillies and Marlins for second place, and the odd man out will battle there. It's the Cubs and either the Cardinals, the Brewers, or the Reds all battling out, and the other 2 will be in that 4-team mix. And then it's just the Giants. So those are the 6 teams. 2 of them will get second place in their division, and 2 will be dead out. So 6 teams of those will make the playoffs, and 2 are going to be on the outside looking in. The Giants, of course, are the kind of the oddballs of the group because they can't get second place in their division because the Padres are 34-20.
Yeah, they are. All right, drive through, guys. A lot more free picks coming Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Joined by Mitch today. Free picks coming up, and let's go on out to bring in a handicapper from the Pig Dogs, and it's El Nino. So El will be looking here at an NL West game. El, how you doing today? Look who I can guess who you're on tonight in that big NBA game tonight.
Again, this is just the money line play right here.
Oh, it is just
the spreads on the side.
Spread is on this side. Of course, El Nino is a big LA fan, likes the Dodgers, like the Lakers. Not the Rams, though. You're a Raider fan. You must have liked that result yesterday.
Well, again, as a fan, I did, but as a bettor, not so much. I was on the Saints there, too. I mean, I still think the Saints are the better team. But definitely very looking forward very much to this Raiders season. So I'll see what else they can do for us.
All right, Al, you're going to take a look here at a National League West game. It's the late game, the bailout game between Colorado with Freeland, San Francisco Smiley. San Francisco's ballooned up. Look at this. They were open 115. We're now at 165 with the Giants against Freeland. Total sits at 7.5. But last I looked at Freeland, he pitches pretty good away from Coors Field. And Smiley doesn't go very deep into this game. So, of course, the loss by the Phillies give the Rockies a little hope in that Game 1 loss by Philadelphia. So how do you see this one?
Yeah, two great points you made there about the starting pitchers. Freeland, I still think he's a great pitcher. He's coming off a rough season. But, again, he pitches at Coors Field, so that's always going to mess his numbers up. You said he was great on the road. He is. He's had 3 starts on the road. He's completed 6 innings in all 3 of those. Hasn't given up more than 3 runs on the road, which was to the Dodgers. So in 6 innings, that's not too bad there. He also, his last road game was against the Padres, which he shut out through 6 innings. So yeah, much better on the road. This team's also better on the road. They're the record not so great, 24-29, but they are over 500 at 12-11 on the road. The Giants pretty good at home too, where they're 16-10. We talked a lot on the show about how streaky the Rockies have been, but I broke it down real quick. So they started off 8-2, which turned into 11-4, then went 2-11, then 4-1, 1-4, 3-3, and then they went on a 1-6 run before winning their last 2 games coming into this one. So that's pretty much as streaky as it gets right there. And I think they're in a good spot to go on a little good streak here with Freeland on the mound. And the plus money, we're getting almost plus 150 with Freeland on the road, where he's been good against the Giants, which are having a pretty good season, but definitely not one of the best teams in my book, at least. And I think we got a good chance here with the Rockies and Freeland at plus 150, so that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, that's a big
Rockies
line.
on the money line.
On the money line, there's been a big move here on the Giants. Mitch, this is the Giants team that's lost 3 of 4. Not an experienced offense. They played well, been competitive early, made a lot of units for them. But here we go. When you got to start winning these games, they lost 3 of 4. And those losses, they scored a total of 2 runs.
Yeah, it's, eventually they're going to have to, it's now is the time. It's now is the time for the Giants. They've played hard. They played above their heads. They've won us a ton of money this year. They've been my bailout. If it wasn't for the Giants, this season could have really been a disaster. But I think that they're gutty, and they have a good mix of veterans and young guys, and I think they're ready to pass the torch. I thought Hunter Pence was time for him to go, but apparently he's still there. I'm going to guess this is his last season in San Francisco, and I think they could use Buster Posey this week.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hurting without him.
Yeah, there's no question about that. But Drew Smiley's on the mound here. He doesn't go deep into games. I'm looking at this line move, Mitch. Can you figure this out? I mean, it's pretty significant here.
It is significant, and all we can think is that maybe some of the key players on the Rockies are going to sit, like Arenado. And
Arenado, that was a note. Yeah, Arenado, but he was already injured, but he's been listed as out for the year. He's put on
Blackman or Arenado. It's just not the same team. So I don't know. It's sometimes tough to figure out. I didn't really see the line move until you guys just mentioned it, so I haven't had a chance to dig into it. But I will be more than happy to take a look while we're sitting.
All right, let's go check a look at the lineups here. It was announced.
I will, as we do in the morning show, I'll go to Bing and see if we can find an answer.
That's right.
It's like we figured we go over to Bing because we got plenty of room. We got the whole place to ourselves over there.
That's right. There's no buffering.
Yeah, we used to Google, but we love Google. Google's our favorite, but it's a little crowded, so we go over to Bing and we just kind of have the whole place to ourselves.
You have it all to yourself, right, Mitch?
Yeah, it looks like the Rockies confirmed their lineup. Yeah, Arenado's out, but Blackman, Story, they're all in. Most of the other guys are in. So yeah, it's just I see Arenado that's out. That's what I noticed.
Yeah,
And
but
this is one of those great scenarios where you could say somebody knows something. Somebody's put a lot of money here on the Giants. Because I'm still showing only 53% of the bets on the Giants here, but a line moved from -116 to -170 on a day where there's an NBA game. I mean, I could see it like if it was the only, but this is.
Yeah, Ronaldo been banged up. We've known about his shoulder, and it was just announced today. Well, he's out for the year, so it just seems strange that you get that big move. But again,
he's not a $50 player. He's not $50.
Yeah, in the pitching matchup here, like I said, you get Freeland out of Coors Field. He's a different pitcher, and Smiley it doesn't go deep. So, and of course, the current form here with the Giants feeling the pressure there. Al mentioned about the streaky team. Here's the time for. Is this the time for the Rockies to streak up? Could this be the surprise team? No one's playing their way into the 7th and 8th spot, right? So here's a team that showed a little bit of bite here at the end of the season. A little fight, So it'll be interesting to see how this one. That's a game I'll be keeping an eye on. I'm really interested in this Rocky Giant game. All right, Al, we're seeing you on top of the leaderboards in NFL and of course college football. You're off to a good start in football. Mitch is number 1 though in NFL and number 1 in NBA. Everyone's trying to catch Mitch. That's everyone's trying to catch him.
Hey, I just said volume's gonna go up.
Some people say I talk too much. Other people say 5 million readers a month. Maybe he's doing something right.
That's right. Alice, we reached the top of the hour. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I still have a 3-pack with my late games going off to MLB, and then obviously my play on the NBA game tonight. So, yeah, it's going to be another great game. The Nuggets put up a great fight in the last one, and as I said, if you want to hear my thoughts on that game, go check them out. But I'll be watching it, obviously, and looking forward to the Lakers doing well again.
Absolutely. Take a look at
better than last time.
Well, when you're hopefully they do better than last time. Of course, the Lakers and Nuggets will have that pick coming up, guys, in a little bit. Al, it's always great having your show. Have a great week, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, you guys have a good one.
All right, buddy. Al Nino's here on the drive-through, 6 p.m. Eastern time,
and
guys.
The Reds on the board here with a 2-run home run. First batter up, reaches base after the Brewers throw a ground ball into the bullpen. And now a 2-run blast. Nobody out. 2 in for the Reds. 2-0 Cincinnati to start the game. And in Toronto, it's 2-0 Yankees.
2-0 the Yankees in that one. All right. That one was a started game. All right. I'm joined here with Mitch as we continue here on the drive-through. And I want to get into this game, Mitch, in college football. Iowa State and TCU are going to play this one on Fox 1. We have Iowa State favored on the road. 2.5 total sits here at 44.5. And this Iowa State team is just amazing to me. Brock Purdy, not the most accurate quarterback, just 45% on the season. They lose to a Sun Belt team. And TCU is a team that's had issues at the quarterback position. And, of course, Max Duggan, medical reasons, he'll be out. So there'll be inexperience at quarterback, inexperience on the offensive side of the football. Of course, each team will look at defense. But how do you see this one here as Iowa State and TCU go at it?
When you look at the list of the highest paid college football coaches, and, of course, I don't have Bing locked and loaded and ready for it, but I can look it up while I'm talking. Gary Patterson is always on the list, and there's a reason. And it's because he always has a great defense. If you look around the NFL and look at some of the great pass rushers, they're at a TCU, and they all played for Patterson. And I think, a good pass rush makes up for a lot. It just does. So Gary Patterson has actually dropped a little bit on this list. He's down to 17 at only $4.9 million a year, which just tells you how much money coaches are making these days. But he's certainly, he's not that far off from the guys that are, 10 spots ahead of him. And, he's at TCU. And I think that just says something. Campbell's a guy that I like a lot, but they looked lost against Arkansas State. It wasn't just that that they lost the game. They looked lost in that game. And I think that was the big problem. And the special teams breakdowns were just horrific.
Yeah,
ULL they lost to. They lost to ULL. Kansas State's the one that lost to Arkansas State. They lost to ULL, and it was two big special teams breakdowns in that game. One was a kickoff that went, went 99 yards or whatever, but it would have gone 199 if the end zone didn't stop them. And then the other one was a punt return. So it's just two big special team breakdowns, and you have to control that. And against a team like TCU, who has the ability to beat themselves, you have 2.5 points in here, and those could factor in this game. These are the type of teams where 2.5 points might be too many. This could be a 2-point game.
Yeah. And,
either way.
Yeah, either way. I think it could be a low-scoring game because we saw, with TCU, with Patterson. I think the strategy is just try to shorten this game, run the football. You got unknown at quarterback.
Normally has some good speed there. They lost the wide receiver to the NFL, but they seem to be reeling out wide receivers year after year at TCU. Always a little bit underrated. They're never going to start the season highly regarded, but it's where you finish. Where you are in December and January, and TCU is usually right there.
When you look at Iowa State, they've lost 3 straight dating back to last season. In those 3 games, they've averaged just 13 points a game. So it's
The thing is, in the Big 12, it's known for scoring a lot of points, but I think this is not a game where you see a ton of points.
Absolutely. All right, here on the drive-thru, 6 p.m. Eastern time, joined by Mitch. More free picks coming. We'll have some more football discussion. We'll also cover the NBA. Let's bring in Shane Mickle. You can find him over at Pig Dogs. Shane, I hope you have a plan B, my man. I think we should have moved you a little up on the show.
That's all right. Yeah, I do, and it's still going to be with the Yankees-Blue Jays game. Been watching the game a little bit. Blue Jays did give up 2 runs in the first inning, but now I see in across books you can get 3.5 +4 for the Blue Jays, right around even money. If you're +4, you're right around -120, -130. I really like that. I still think the Blue Jays will find a way to get a couple runs out of Garrett Cole here and make a comeback.
All right, so Shane Mickle says look for some scoring here from the Toronto Blue Jays. Mitch, you've been eyeing this Yankee team, and since they've got their lineup together again, they could look like they could be a force come playoff time, especially with their bats. The only question mark will be their pitching, the starting pitching.
I just don't like I don't like their starting pitching, and I don't really love the relievers either. And I think, even Aroldis Chapman isn't quite the same pitcher that he was a few years ago. I think the Yankees are probably in trouble against some of these other teams that just have better pitching staffs. I mean, I think, we talk about on the morning show the Cincinnati Reds pitching staff. I mean, I'd rather have the Reds pitching staff than the Yankees, and I'm going to guess that, all of them combined don't make half as much as Garrett Cole does, and it's just, how can you get by? I mean, you're going to count on Tanaka and Jordan Montgomery, to get you through. I just don't see it happening. Debbie Garcia, where do you go here? Garrett Cole can't pitch every day, and even if he did, he's no sure thing. I just, I struggle with, with this Yankee team, and I probably didn't bet enough against them during the course of the season. I did bet against them plenty, but probably not enough.
Who stands out, Shane, in this lineup? You're looking at team total here with Toronto. Who stands out in their lineup for you?
Vlad Guerrero's having a big year. But otherwise, it's basically been a team effort, night in and night out. For a little bit, they did struggle there with their offense, but they seemed to pick it up again last night. And then I see a few runs. I know Garrett Cole doesn't like to give up many. He's been good the last few starts, but if maybe they'll decide they only want to pitch Garrett Cole 6 innings here, get in the Yankees bullpen, and that's where the Blue Jays can do some scoring.
Right, and also too, the site helps you a little bit. We've seen the runs scored in Buffalo.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the ball was flying out of that ballpark. It would be kind of fun to start a team there, and maybe they could be like Colorado or like the London series last year, where there was the totals were set at like 13 or 14 every game with that Yankees team.
Yeah, no, Mitch. The thing in Buffalo is they probably have to start the entire month of April on the road, right? With some of those with that temperature over there.
You would think Buffalo just not a great spot for for baseball. I'm going to guess they probably get 2 or 3 good months. I was in Buffalo in July once, and it was just freezing. I haven't been to Buffalo a ton of times, but I was there July 4th one year, and I have to tell you what, it was pretty cold. I was chilly.
All right, here on the drive.
It'd be quite the fan experience out there if you get some of those Buffalo Bills fans over to cheer on the games. I bet that'd be a lot of fun.
All right, looking at the TV here, Nationals got 2 runners on, down 2-1, 1 out in the third. Remember, this is a 7-inning game, so the Phillies feeling a little pressure there. Shane, I've been following these playoff races.
Yeah, Phillies just don't want to. I think Bryce Harper's ready to go home. It's pretty clear right now that the Phillies don't care about playing in the first game. The first run scored. I mean, Bryce Harper's got a good arm. And it looked like he just laughed or lollygagged up to a ball and threw it back into the first baseman. He could have got him at home. Pretty clear they're checked out, ready. I don't know what do you do. Go some golfing or something.
I guess so.
They're into the Phillies pen here though. So it's good news.
Yeah, it's all you need words.
It's like they just went to the commercial, and here comes the.
They got a Wild Thing lookalike coming in. Did you see that?
Remember they used to call him the fireman of the years.
So he's drinking some Red Bull. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he got the Red Bull going in. He's ready to go. He looks like that. Who was that Wild Thing from the guy? Oh goodness, the name escapes me. He was on the Rangers. He was on the Phillies. He'd walk like 3 batters and strike out 3 in a row. Oh man, goodness. He used to be on MLB Network too back in the, and he got recently fired for saying something stupid. But God, the name. I'm sure somebody in the comments section will refresh my memory who Wild Thing was back in the day. Who this Philly bullpen guy looks just like.
Oh, Mitch Williams.
Yeah, looks just
Mitch
like
Williams.
him. Yeah. You look at this Philly reliever, looks just like him. You know, Shane, you're having a great year in the NBA, 1,400 units up. Of course, Mitch is number 1. There's still hope that you can catch Mitch. You know, you're gonna
spot, but I'm still gonna try.
He's still gonna try. He's chasing Mitch. What do you got going on over at Pig Dogs Premium?
Tonight we got a 3-pack, both 2 NBA plays, and then I've got 1 MLB play, and I think it's $29.95.
All right, check them out over at Pig Dogs Premium. Of course, Shane is having a fantastic year. So it was Mitch Williams was the guy. That's who we're talking about, Wild Thing. We'd like to thank our friend C. James over in the chat room for giving us his response there. And, of course, we'll check out the Phillies here if they can get out of this jam. All right, Shane, it's always great having the show. Have a great week, and we will talk to you in a couple days.
All right, sounds good. Have a good night, you guys.
All right, our buddy Shane Mickle. Good night, Shane. Our buddy Shane Mickle here on the drive-through. All right, we'll continue with some more coverage. I'm joined here by Mitch. We still have some college football. We'll get to the NBA pick as well as an NFL. Mitch, we'll look here at this Big 12 encounter between Texas and Texas Tech. And we see a big line here. We got the Longhorns favored in this one by 18.5. Total sits here at anywhere from 70.5, 71 to 69.5. And, of course, a lot of hope for this Texas Longhorns team. Are they back? Well, we'll see. They've got the quarterback play well. We're looking at Texas Tech now. They're looking to improve off a close win against Houston Baptist. They do have their returning quarterback, Alan Bowman, back. He had a pretty good freshman campaign, so we'll see about the improvement into the sophomore. And he does have his top running back and receiver from a year ago back, and many of his playmakers on offense. So we'll see if the Red Raiders have improved here. Of course, with the Longhorns, Mitch, it's about the defense, right? When they were the top dogs, in college football, it was all about the defense. They did give up more yardage last year than they did in 2018. But how do you see this one? It looks like a lot of points here for Texas going on the road.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going into Lubbock, and traditionally, for a team like Texas Tech, this is going to be their Super Bowl. Texas Tech looked terrible against Houston Baptist. I mean, they looked bad against Houston Baptist, but it really wasn't enough as the Phillies give up that 3-run bomb on the first pitch by the reliever, of course, to take so the Nats go to a 4-2 lead here in that game, and I don't think anyone's surprised about that. But anyways, it's funny how we all mocked them, right when before they even got out of the bullpen, and here it is, first pitch, a lot of ass slapping and high fiving going on there, Soto, in Washington. But anyways, back to this one, Mark Herman's been a disappointment in Texas, and I don't care what anybody says. You go 8-5 last season, the season that people are expecting you to go to the national championship game, not getting it done. You have a veteran quarterback who was born to be a Texas quarterback, so they say. The expectation for me is just a lot higher of this Texas team, and I know, but the expectation, the reality is what the reality is. This is a team that's underperformed in every spot that they've had a chance to underperform in. And I think going to Lubbock, where the Red Raiders and their fan base treat this game as their Super Bowl. This is the Texas game. This is the big one for them. So I expect them to not take this game lightly. I expect the Texas Tech players to leave it all out on the field, and I expect this Texas team to be absolutely gutless the way they've been under Mark Herman since the day he signed as head coach, and to underachieve. And I love 18 points here at Texas Tech. I am not sure about the total in this one, but I do appreciate the 70.5 Big 12 number up there. Absolutely. It's kind of like the Coors. It's kind of like the Coors Field totals, right? The Big 12 number. It's like, It's like, what do you think is good? Let's put 70.5 on this thing and see what the hell happens.
That's right. Yeah, I'm with you there, Mitch, on the underdog. I put this game up here because I saw that line. I said, wait, this is a big game for Texas Tech. And, of course, Texas has Oklahoma. There's a lot of big games on their schedule. But, this is a sneaky game coming in here to start the season, early in the season here for Texas. But I'm with Mitch there on that one. All right, this is a drive-through. We still have more picks coming. I got NBA. We'll touch a little bit on the NFL, but let's go ahead. It's time for my play right now. Let's get to it. Lakers and Nuggets. This will be game number 3. I'm going to take the underdog Nuggets here at +6.5. We know the LA wins. They don't cover in game 2. It was that buzzer beater by Anthony Davis, but Lakers had trouble separating from the Nuggets. Yeah, they built up a big lead, but again, the Nuggets continue to fight back in this series. And, the supporting cast, I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing them offensively supporting James and Anthony Davis at this point. Denver has shown me the ability not to quit. They're going to scrap in this series. They've shot well in both games. They shot 49% in the opener, 47% in game 2. Of course, they can improve that free throw and 3-point shooting from the previous game. But I look for Denver to be all out here to avoid that 0-3 deficit in this spot. Maybe the Lakers are a little fat and happy. Keep this within 2 possessions. The hook could even come into play here. I like the Nuggets at 6.5. Of course, Mitch, the Lakers here laying some points in game 3.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with 100% of your analysis in this game. I think the Denver Nuggets are better. This is a team that's not going to go away easy. They might not win this series, and I felt all season long that Denver would make some noise in the playoffs. They've done that. They've done that. If you go back to my videos from the beginning of the NBA season, I said the team that's probably going to make some noise in the postseason is the Denver Nuggets, and and here they are making the noise. But at the same time, kind of like we saw in the NFL game last night, the NBA wants certain things to happen, and Celtics-Lakers is certainly one of the things that they love to see happen. And if it's a possibility, it's probably going to happen. So we just have to figure out how we get there. And, I think that Denver will play them tough. I just think that it'll be another one of these close games.
All right, guys, Drive Through daily at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We cover a lot on our show, a lot of free picks, and more. We have one more game we'll cover here. NFL early game, Texans at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh opened 6, but it's now down to 4. Steelers laying 4. Total sits here at 45. Mitch, of course, the Steelers got some pretty good defensive play to start the year. And, of course, DeAndre Hopkins no longer with the Texans. We're seeing the offense drop off a little bit. And, Roethlisberger has been effective, a 68% completion rate, 5 touchdowns to pick, not making too many mistakes. The run game has come through for Pittsburgh to help a Big Ben in the passing game. And, of course, we know the Texans defense, they just can't stop the run. How do you see this one here with Pitt in Texas?
I just don't understand what I don't understand what the Texans are doing as an organization from top to bottom. I think when you trade DeAndre Hopkins for David Wilson, it just says a lot about what you're doing. I think we're going to see a gutting of the entire Texans management team, and we're going to see just an entire change because these personnel decisions just don't even make any sense. I wasn't enamored with the Steelers the way other people were after that Monday night win against the Giants. My philosophy was they're playing Daniel Jones. It's like there's only so bad your defense can look if you're playing Daniel Jones. And I had Denver against them. Once Drew Lock went out, I was a little surprised I ended up getting the back door there, but I'll take it. But I just think that Deshaun Watson's a pretty proud guy. I just think he needs some help. And Laramie Tunsil isn't going to have a good day blocking against that Steelers defensive front.
Yeah, it could be a tough one there. All right, guys, it's the drive-through Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have more coverage. We'll have that Heat Boston coverage. We'll talk hockey, some more baseball, of course, with the football coverage as well. And join Mitch, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time for the morning show. Mitch, Chris Ruffalo, Brian Bittler, of course, Rod Zawacki will be on the show breaking down the card from the sports world out there. Early games from baseball they'll be on top of. And, of course, Mitch, that show very popular in that morning.
Yeah, we enjoy it. We always have a good time. I know some people think that, we lose focus, and we do. We definitely do. And, we have fun with it. So, just a lot going on in the world, and, we don't take ourselves or the show too seriously. And we probably never will. And we have kind of a lot of other things going on in the works with the show in the morning, and we'll take it as it is. But we're not going to work with anybody or anything that wants us to change who we are and how we do it. So we're willing to work with the timing and things like that, but we're not going to change who we are with the show.
Want to make a note here. I mean, some of our audience on the drive-through are coming home from work, but some people are commuting in the morning. How can they hear your show if they're commuting? Is it on podcast form?
Absolutely. We're on Spotify as well as iTunes, so you can catch us on on our podcast version. It's called Picks from the Doghouse.
All right, Picks from the Doghouse. Do that search. Get on your phones, guys. Lock that into your playlist so on your morning drive you can listen to Mitch and Company break down the games early in the morning. All right, as always, a great show. Mitch, thanks for joining me. Let's bring on the Pick Dogs, wave goodbye to the crowd, and we'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Good night, everybody. Win your bets.
Good night.